Hello, I'm Nick Hodges, the Delphi Product Manager, and this is another edition of Turbo Delphi Demos. Today we're going to hopefully wrap up TurboPad in this event, in this demo. I'm not content with it yet because there's still a few little things inside of Notepad that aren't in TurboPad, most notably the WordWrap functionality and the font functionality. So we're going to go ahead and add those two things. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to add the menu items, of course. So we're going to add a format menu, and we're going to drag it over so that it's here next to edit, like so. Then I'm going to go ahead and go over to our action items, and I'm just going to add a general action here. I'm going to give it the name WordWrap action. Its caption should be trusted, just good old WordWrap, like so. And I am going to then hook that particular action up to this new submenu under Format, and that will be the WordWrap action. While we're at it, we'll go ahead and add another action. This time from the standard actions, we're going to scroll down and grab a dialog box, otherwise known as T Font Edit. And that one will be the one that we'll add when the font gets changed, and it goes under, notice, the dialog category, and there it is, of course, the font edit item. And we'll go ahead and hook that particular one up to the subsequent menu item here as well. Font edit, there it is. Okay, and that'll allow us to select a font, and that will pretty much bring us up to speed with the functionality of Notepad. Okay, first we'll get started with WordWrap. And notice that WordWrap is checked as an action by default. And of course, since it's a normal action, it has an onExecute event. And we want stuff to happen when we select it. So we want an action event to occur on execute. So we'll create an event handler for onExecute, and then we'll write a little code to manage the WordWrap being turned on and off. So when we double click there, we'll create a WordWrap action execute event handler, and we will add some code. First thing, of course, is we want to take the WordWrap property and we want to turn it off if it's on and on if it's off, and we can use the Boolean operator not to do that, and that will toggle the WordWrap property. Now, of course, the other thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the menu itself, the action itself, checked property is the same as memo1.wordwrap. In other words, if WordWrap is enabled, we want the menu item to be checked. If it's not, we don't. So therefore, that'll keep the menu checked in line with the menu check in line with the state of the WordWrap property in memo1. Now, WordWrap has an interesting feature, and we're going to run the application and you'll see it doesn't quite work like you might think. So for instance, right now WordWrap is on, right? So we come in, I'll narrow it down here to make it easy. This is some text, and it should start, well, it's not wrapping even though WordWrap is on. And guess what? The reason for that is because there's a scroll bar down here. And if there's a scroll bar down here, WordWrap doesn't seem to want to work right. So what we need to do is we need to write some code that changes the scroll bar property of the memo depending upon what WordWrap is. So we want to say if memo1.wordwrap, so if WordWrap is on, then we're going to do one thing, and if it's off, else we're going to do another. And the thing we're going to do is memo1.scrollbars, we're going to set to SS. If WordWrap is on, we're going to remove that bottom horizontal scroll bar and include only the vertical scroll bar. But if WordWrap is off, we'll go ahead and include in the scroll bars property both scroll bars. Things up real nice for us. It should now. We'll narrow this down once again to give it a little feel. This is some text that should wrap. And WordWrap is on, WordWrap is off. Whoops. Here's what I forgot to do. I forgot to turn the scroll bar off by default. Since WordWrap is on, we want the scroll bars to be just the vertical scroll bar. There we go. Now, I apologize. It should work all nice and dandy for us. Once again, we'll narrow it down. This is a very narrow edit box, and now it word wraps. Now you'll notice if I say Format, turn off word wrap, you notice that scroll bar pops up. If I turn word wrapping back on, the scroll bar goes away and the object word wraps. So there you go. Word wrap menu item is working. Okay, next up is the select font item, and this is even easier. The select font action simply brings up the select font dialog that you're pretty familiar with and allows the user to select a font. And then if the user presses the OK button, the new font should be selected and made part of the memo. Now, of course, we're dealing with actions here, so we need to go over to the action, come up to the dialog, and the action has an onAccept event that gets fired when the user presses the OK button on the font. So we'll just go ahead and double click on that and create a font event handler, font accept here. And of course now that means the user has selected a font, and we should set the memo's font property to that. So memo1.font gets font edit one's dialog.font property. How easy could that be? So now, we run this and we type some text. This is some text. Now we go Format, Select Font, and we pick out some wacky looking crazy font. I don't know, something that looks really goofy. Let's see. Modern number 20, and we'll pick a nice big size to make sure, and we'll select OK, and now you notice the text has changed. And that couldn't have been much easier now, could it? Okay, now because I'm an obsessive compulsive, or at least some people say I am, I can't stand it that we don't have this little time date functionality down here with the F5 key as its shortcut. You select this and it inserts the time date into the memo. Well, we're not going to let Notepad beat us out on that, so we're going to go ahead and add this right below the select all item. I don't want to save that. So now we can go to the actions. Of course, we'll always go to the actions, right? We want to create just a generic action this time because there is no standard action for this. And we will call this guy the date time action. Its caption will be date/time. And we want to be a little cooler than Notepad. We want to say insert date/time. And then the shortcut was what? F5, right? So we'll come down and select F5 as the shortcut. And of course now we have to add a menu item for this. It was after select all. Right here we'll add the menu item for date time action. There it is. And now of course we want to have it do something when it's executed. So I'll double click in the on execute event item here. Close this up. And now we're going to insert some text. And we want to insert some text at the selection point, the point where the caret is. So the first thing we need to do is we need to call and set the cell text property to be a date time value. So now we're going to have to go ahead and get the date time value and print it or add it to make it the selected text in the memo. So we're going to use a function from sysutils called dateTime2stir, and it expects a constant of the date time, and that is now. It is a common function in the sysutils unit also that will now format out for us the common date time. If we run the application, we can go edit, insert date time, and there it is, the date and time. Yes, I'm awake at midnight doing these Camtasias. Okay, you know what? I think that's it. We're going to wrap up TurboPad with that. I'm going to place this code on Code Central, and you'll be able to download it by searching for the word TurboPad. You just search for TurboPad or look up under my name in Code Central. And Code Central, by the way, is http://cc.borland.com. You'll be able to download the code there and take a look at it. I will upload it as soon as I get done formatting and posting this demo. So that wraps it up for TurboPad and Turbo Delphi demos for this version. I got a couple more of these to go in my 30 campaigns in 30 days. We'll get them done. And thanks for your attention. Bye.